It was just before Passover, and the air was filled with anticipation. In a small home near Capernaum, a Jewish family prepared for a journey they'd never forget. The father, Joseph, and his wife Miriam had heard the rumors. Could this Jesus really be the Messiah they'd prayed for? That morning they left early, following the crowd toward the hills of Galilee. Along the way, the excitement was contagious. People spoke of miracles. The blind seeing, the sick healed, demons cast out. Joseph and Miriam exchanged hopeful glances. Could it be true? By midday, they arrived. The hills were alive with thousands of people, all gathered to hear Jesus. When he spoke, it was unlike anything they'd ever heard. His words weren't just wise, they touched their hearts. Jesus spoke of God as a loving Father, not distant or harsh, but caring deeply for each one of them. The family couldn't take their eyes off him. They saw him heal the sick right in front of them. The joy and peace they felt were unlike anything they'd ever experienced. But as the sun began to set, a problem arose. The disciples of Jesus started moving through the crowd, asking if anyone had food to share. Joseph looked at their small basket, 1 fish and a loaf of bread. It wasn't much, just enough for their family, but then he looked at Miriam and she nodded. They handed over their entire meal. The disciples returned to Jesus with only 5 loaves and 2 fish and a bunch of empty baskets. The disciples looked worried. The crowd was huge. How could this ever be enough? But Jesus simply smiled and said, "Bring them here to me." He lifted the food to heaven, gave thanks, and began breaking it into pieces, placing a few pieces in each of the baskets. Then he handed the baskets to his disciples and told them to give it out to the crowd. And the most incredible thing happened. There was enough for everyone. As people reached into each basket, the pieces of food multiplied over and over. Not just enough, more than enough. In fact, thousands of men, women, and children ate until they were full. And when it was over, the disciples returned to Jesus with 12 baskets brimming with leftovers. People were continually singing and praising God. Music filled the hills all day and into the night. Joseph's family couldn't believe their eyes. Their small offering had been multiplied into a feast for thousands. As they walked back home, they contemplated all that they had witnessed. Joseph whispered to Miriam, "I think we've seen a lot of miracles today." And they had. This story isn't just about a miraculous meal. It's about how even the smallest acts of kindness, given in faith, can be used by God in ways we can't imagine. Joseph and Miriam's decision to share their little meal became part of something so much bigger than themselves. Today, it's the same. Maybe you can't solve all the world's problems, but your small acts of kindness, a kind word, a helping hand, or sharing what you have, can have a ripple effect. God can take what you give and turn it into a blessing far greater than you ever thought possible. So don't hold back. Even the smallest gift given in love can change someone's world. Remember, what you have is enough when you place it in God's hands. If this story inspired you, take a small act of faith and like and subscribe so that we can share this video with others.